The armed forces of Ukraine will not stop counter-offensive operations to consolidate recent military successes and prevent Russian troops from seizing the initiative on the battlefield, analysts at the American Institute for the Study of War say.
The Ukrainian campaign is designed to deprive Russia of the initiative and liberate more of the territories of Ukraine occupied by Russia. Weather conditions in winter 2023 likely will dictate a time frame in which Ukraine can conduct maneuver warfare and continue its strain of operational successes with minimal pauses. Analysts at the American Institute for the Study of War, in the official report.
U.S. Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines says that Russian President Vladimir Putin was surprised that his army in Ukraine hadn't done better. She also believes that Moscow will quickly use up its military reserves.
So that is going to be a challenge, and that's why you see them going to other countries effectively to try to get ammunition. And of course, we've indicated that their precision munitions are running out much faster in many respects. They have a lot of stockpiles. How viable those stockpiles are, how much they have, what they can use in different conflicts are obviously all questions that we look at quite carefully with our allies and partners.
After setbacks on the battlefield, Russia has been attacking Ukraine's energy infrastructure since early October. It leaves millions of people without electricity and heating. At the same time, the Kremlin does not hide that they do it in order to reduce the combat capability of Ukraine and push it to negotiations. A UN investigative team declared that it was studying the issue of whether Russian attacks on critical infrastructure in Ukraine could be considered war crimes.
With deliberate cruelty, Russia is putting civilians and civilian infrastructure in its gun sights. Russian forces have killed thousands of Ukrainian citizens, even as millions more have fled. And Russian attacks have left children dead, schools shattered, and hospitals smashed. So Russia's neighbors view its imperial aggression with growing alarm. And Putin's war of choice has given everyone on earth a preview of a world of tyranny and turmoil that nobody would want to live in.
The Medusa edition has published the results of a closed sociological survey by the Federal Security Service of Russia. According to the data received, 55% of Russians are in favor of peace negotiations with Ukraine, and only 25% support the continuation of the so-called special operation. Although back in April, about 80% of Russians declared their support for the war in Ukraine.
Despite the Russian authorities' efforts to enforce pervasive control of the information environment, the conflict has become increasingly tangible for many Russians since the September 2022 partial mobilization, with Russia unlikely to achieve major battlefield successes in the next several months. Maintaining even tacit approval of the war amongst the population is likely to be increasingly difficult for the Kremlin. Ministry of Defense of the United Kingdom in the official report.
Despite the attacks on the country's energy system and other important critical infrastructure, especially in winter, the Ukrainian military and civilian population do not plan to stop resisting the Russian aggressor. Reported by Dana Kolesnik, Natalia Gusak, UATV News.